Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit of a sit down chat one, and I haven't done one of these in a while, but I really want to share these tips with you. So it's my tried and tested little money saving hacks that I literally use year in and year out to get my finances under control and just feel really motivated and empowered to make some really good decisions that are going to affect me positively throughout the entire year. So I just want to preface before we talk about anything to do with finances that I really do understand we all come from different places in the world, different backgrounds, we have very different salaries, and our lifestyles have many different factors. So I definitely don't want you guys to ever compare yourself with me. I think it's just a self-to-self comparison, and I really hope that these tips can help you out whether you use all of them or just a handful of them. But I really thought it would be a fun idea to share these because I had a very expensive month this February, and it just got me thinking that I needed to do a little bit of a shake up and a bit of a check-in with my finances. So just a super quick reminder as well, if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe. You can hit that little notification bell and the red button down below. Now let's get into tip number one. So tip number one is to cancel any subscriptions you're not using. And I know this one sounds kind of silly because you'd think, what could I possibly have that I wouldn't know about? And I'm telling you, there are so many things that I had signed up for, subscribed to, or just kind of taken part in, and I must have given some information over, and I was having little rolling charges coming out of my account. So I really had to go back and have a hard look at definite things that I wanted to keep and other things that I'd be happy to let go. So for example, I had the classics like Spotify, Netflix, but I also had Stan, Amazon, and several other services. And I think this was literally just because it was probably during lockdown when I was feeling really bored, and I signed up for a bunch of these things so I could watch TV shows across them all. But these days I'm back into my routine and I'm really busy, so I actually ended up cancelling a few of those and just keeping one TV service because obviously I don't have all the time in the world like many of you, so I don't need to hang on to them all. So definitely have a check through your iPhone list or even a bank statement to just make sure you don't have any little rolling charges coming out that aren't supposed to be there. Tip number two is to avoid mindless shopping, and that is a really big thing that can definitely happen now so much of our activity is online, because I feel like sales pitches are like constantly hitting you in the face, whether it is emails, text notifications, ads on Instagram. There are definitely paid sponsorships and things throughout videos here on YouTube, and all of this is totally fine because we do live in a society where advertising is widely accepted and it's just something that's there. And honestly, sometimes I really don't mind because I might be looking for an outfit for an occasion, so it's really handy when these ads pop up. But something that I would definitely recommend doing is having a little cull, I guess, of your email list and either blocking or unsubscribing from some of those particular lists if it's something that just kind of comes in and you find yourself always clicking on it and buying something even when you don't need a thing, or if it is just little bits and pieces like those Instagram ads that just grab you and it might be a little bit clickbaity. So I just make sure that I am only following accounts that have content that I really resonate with and care about and are not just constantly trying to sell me something. Tip number three is to use the discount and rewards cards whenever they are offered to you. So for me here in Australia, that means the Woolworths rewards card, which is the supermarket that I do my grocery shopping at, and also Flybuys. And basically how these cards work is every time you shop, similar to even your credit card, if you've got a rewards type credit card, you are accruing points, and then they will either give you cash back or money off your shop or something like that, or maybe even just a discount. So for example, your Flybuys card can be used to get a couple of cents off your every litre of petrol when you go to the service station. So these kind of things are really, really handy, and I know there can kind of be a little bit of a weird stigma around using those kind of cards because it's a little bit like a coupon culture or something, but for me, honestly, I think you literally have to spend your money doing your groceries anyway. So what's the harm in swiping this card for 10 seconds, or the cashier will often offer to do it for you, and and you are literally going to save $10 off your shop like many times. I honestly think my Woolworths one, maybe like every 3 weeks or at least every month, I am saving $10. So at the bare minimum, that is like $120 a year. That is an entire week of free groceries if you add it all up. So definitely get onto that if it's something that you just haven't used or haven't got around to, because they can really save you quite a lot of money. Tip number 4 is to search for discount codes before you are purchasing anything online, and that is all just part of being a savvy online shopper in my opinion, because there are so many websites where people actually put up these kind of coupon codes, but also it's just like they're available on the internet. A lot of people will offer you 10% off if you sign up to their newsletter. So obviously you are handing over your email address, but you're getting a benefit from that. Or there will often just be sales that are coming up that you could look out for as well, like Afterpay Day, which often means you'll get 30% off. There are Black Friday sales and things. So you can almost kind of time your purchases around these sales, or you could just definitely look for discount codes. Like for example, with a store like Princess Polly online, whenever I do a collaboration with them, I end up getting a 20% discount off for you guys. So if there's something that I wanted to buy when my discount code isn't working, I'll just look for Princess Polly discount code, and sure enough, another girl's video will come up that has a code. Or even with buying furniture and things online, I know, for example, Temple & Webster, I did a quick search when I was buying a table once, and I managed to save myself $50 by just finding a discount code online. So definitely be a little bit savvy and have a quick look. It doesn't always work, but I guarantee you the times that it does, you feel like you've literally hit the lotto. Following on from this, my next tip is to use a service that can give you cashback when you're shopping online. So today's sponsor of this video is GoCashBack, and I wanted to recommend them to you guys because if you use my unique referral code, they will give you an $8 sign up bonus, and they are an absolutely incredible service if you do quite a lot of shopping online. GoCashBack means you can earn cashback when you shop. They have up to 45% cashback at over 6,000 stores. You can receive updates on deals for fashion, beauty, home, electronics, and more. They have a timely payout via check, PayPal, gift cards, or prepaid cards, and it is just an absolutely incredible service to use if you're shopping online. So you can create an account on GoCashback. I will leave all of the details in the description box down below, and basically then you can just start browsing and have a look at the cashback offers on hundreds of stores that you probably already shop at. So it's a really convenient app, and I've already saved around $20 by just doing one single shop because they were offering a certain percentage of cashback on my purchase. So definitely recommend signing up there if you are a little bit of an avid online shopper, because why not get cashback on your purchases? Tip number 6 is to sell any of your unwanted goods that are sitting around, which you've been meaning to get to for a while. So there is tons of websites where you can sell pre-loved goods, whether it be eBay, Gumtree. There is a Facebook Marketplace, which is the one that I quite often use, and honestly, I sell so many of my things on there. There was a ottoman that I had the other week, and I'd actually purchased it from someone on Facebook Marketplace. I had it in my home for around a year, and I just redid my living room in the previous video. So I ended up selling that on Facebook Marketplace, and it only took me a week. Someone came and picked it up, paid me cash for it, and it was all done. So I definitely recommend jumping on there and just like putting up any of your items, whether it be clothing, electronics, furniture, anything, and just getting a little bit of cash for it. Because if you are purchasing any new things around your home anyway, or you just have literally items laying there that you are no longer using, then I would definitely recommend getting rid of them. How I ended up starting this YouTube channel is actually a little Facebook Marketplace story as well, because I had a very old Nikon camera, and it was a proper like shutter camera, like what a photographer would use, but I honestly hadn't used it in years. The last time I used it was to capture some photos for a friend, and up until I started this channel, I didn't need it, and it didn't have video capability. So I quite literally packaged it up, sold it on Facebook Marketplace, and used part of that money to purchase the camera that I'm currently talking to you on. Tip number 7 is to make your daily coffee at home. And honestly, I know not everybody has the facilities to do this, but this has just been such a game changer for me and a really enjoyable part of my daily rituals. So previously I was going out in the city to buy my coffee on the way to work, And because I live in Melbourne and it is right in the center of the city where my office is, it is around about $6 for an almond cappuccino, and that is pretty steep when you're getting 2 a day. So I was quite literally spending over $50 a week just on coffees out, and not to mention on the weekend when my partner and I would also go and get one, so I might be shouting him or he'd shout me, and it was really just starting to add up. So wanting to be a little bit more budget conscious this year, I ended up getting a coffee machine as a gift for Christmas, and I love it. So I just go to Woolworths now and buy my coffee, or go to a little coffee shop and get some grounds. And buying my own milk as well means I can buy the Tetra packs, which are a little bit more budget friendly, and I get to make my own coffee at home every single day just the way I like it. Tip number 8 is to get a reusable coffee cup and a reusable water bottle. I cannot tell you how much these things will just pay themselves off over time. So not only are they a more sustainable option, which I definitely think is really important, as that kind of aligns with my values of not wanting to constantly use takeaway coffee cups and plastic water bottles that you're either throwing away or kind of unable to recycle if you can't clean them properly. So I just absolutely love my Timer water bottle. I use it every single day, and it is just something that I can carry around with me everywhere. So not only is it making me drink more water, but it means that I'm never going to be tempted to go and buy a bottle of water. And the reusable coffee cup, yet again, like I said, it means I can take away my little coffees I'm making at home and still go with my coffee for a little walk if I want to, or I'm just making sure that I'm not spending that extra money on the takeaway coffee cup. It's just going to end up in the bin anyway. Tip number 9 is to write yourself a meal plan every single week. So this is something that I personally really enjoy doing anyway, because I'm a very organized person. So I really enjoy kind of thinking about the meals I'm going to make for that week and planning it all out, because not only does this help me stay on track with my health and fitness goals, but it also means I only have to do one grocery shop, and I love that, because I know some people really enjoy kind of just going with the flow and going to the grocery shop every single day and just kind of planning your dinner that way. But that is kind of my worst nightmare, because I would be so tempted to just buy so many random things that I didn't need, and it would really end up adding up, because you never really know the true amount you're spending if you are spending every single day. Whereas when you just go and do that one grocery shop for the week, you can really start to estimate your household spending, because it is all just done at once. It is way more expensive, but it's literally just that one amount that's coming out every single week. So you can kind of see which weeks are more or less expensive, or start to budget for those weeks where you might also have to buy a couple of household items like shampoo and cleaning products and things, as well as your food. Tip number 10 is to grow your own herbs on your little kitchen balconies. So if you are lucky enough to have a balcony attached to your house or apartment, or maybe you even have a beautiful backyard where you could set up a little patch, I would definitely recommend finding out some ones that are going to work in whatever climate you're in, because when you buy those little bunches, whether it be parsley or coriander or everything, every single week it is kind of a little bit expensive, and you never end up needing the entire bunch anyway. So if you are stuck with needing to buy them, I would definitely recommend chopping the stems off and popping them in a glass of water in the fridge, because that is a little hack that makes them last for longer. But if you have the space, I would so recommend it. I have a couple of little things growing on my balcony. My staple ones are coriander, parsley, and chives, and these are just things that I'm constantly using in the kitchen. So it means that I can just wander out there and pick a little bit off them instead of needing to buy the bunch every single time. Tip number 11 is to buy whole foods and not the pre-cut up vegetables. So what I mean by this is, sometimes when I was going to Woolworths, I would notice so many things pre-cut, and I kind of just thought it was because I'm in a metro area and they know everyone around here is a little bit time poor and probably a little bit lazy. But there were things like cucumber sticks just cut up in a little packet, and it was probably triple the price that it would be to just buy a cucumber and cut it up yourself. So just little things like this. Or celery, instead of buying a big bunch, it would just have the little celery hearts or even celery sticks, and the price is just kind of incrementally increasing depending on the convenience factor. And not only that, but they often come in quite a lot of unnecessary plastic packaging. So just again, to kind of do your bit for the environment, I always think it's better if you can just buy the entire vegetable and try and use as many parts of it as possible. If you're not able to use it all, perhaps you could compost it, or you would be able to save it for later if it's something that you could put in the freezer or use in a different way, like in a juice or whatever. So that's just a hot tip from me, because I kind of feel a little bit bad when I see all of those things that are pre-cut up purely for convenience factor. So definitely have a look if that is something that you are buying, because I guarantee you it is cheaper to just buy the entire thing. Tip number 12 is to use some recyclable wraps. So if you guys are into sustainable products like me, then perhaps you have seen some beeswax wraps, and these are a really handy tool in your kitchen because they can simply be rinsed and then reused, reused, and reused. So you are never having to go and buy cling wrap ever again and struggle with getting it over something, because Lord knows I've had so many battles where I just wanted to scream trying to get cling wrap to work. So definitely recommend trying out beeswax wraps, because you can also just kind of fold them up and pop them into your bag if you're heading off to work as well. So there are so many little uses for these. You can get them in a ton of different sizes, and I've even noticed the big supermarket chains stocking them now as well. So definitely recommend getting your hands on some of those if you are wanting to cut down on your plastic consumption, but also just have a cost-friendly solution that you only have to buy once. Tip number 13 is to pack your lunch for work. So I definitely am a big fan of this, but not so much of the little night before preparation, but it is really worth it when it comes to the end of the week, because sometimes when I was going out for my lunch with my colleagues, which don't get me wrong, I definitely still do for the social factor, but my preference was really just to bring my own food. So first of all, it's just more a health conscious option, but also, when I was going out for those lunches, I was spending in excess of $30 to $40 purely because that is honestly just the price of some things once you've sat down and had a meal or added a drink or added some sides or whatever it is, unless you're kind of having a takeaway option. But honestly, my packed lunches would probably cost me around $5 to $8, and it is exactly what I want to eat. It's right there in the fridge at work. I don't even have to go for a walk, and it is really helping my wallet feel a lot healthier by the end of the week. So many of these are about food. I feel a little bit food obsessed, but tip number 14 is to go and shop at the markets an hour before they close. And this one is something you guys probably might already do, but I absolutely love doing that on a Sunday afternoon, because it's kind of that really dusky time of day. You're getting ready to set back into another work week, and there is nothing better than walking into the markets when everything has been marked down and they're all going on sale, because everyone who is at those markets pretty much wants to get rid of their produce and start the week fresh. So they are marking things down, sometimes even to half price. So whenever I've walked to the South Melbourne market, I've been able to pick up a ton of fruit and vegetables really, really cheap, and also any meat if that's something you eat as well. I went in there and there was so many people just calling out and shouting, and it was a little bit chaotic, but I got tons and tons of things. And even if you just go every now and then, you can always pop them in the freezer and just bring the things down as you need. But it was so great, and I saved so much money. Tip number 15 is a little one about your gym membership. So for me, I had a gym membership at one of those kind of studio gyms where it was very expensive. I think it was around $70 or $80 a week, which is totally fine because that's just their business model, and I absolutely respect that. But for me, after I'd completed the 12-week challenge, I didn't really enjoy having my kind of weekly workout schedule dictated by someone else. So instead of being able to kind of pick and choose what I felt like doing that day, it was really regimented into it will be boxing this day or strength this day, and I just kind of fell out of love with that kind of class format. So I ended up joining a gym just up the road that is literally a 24-hour gym, so I could go whenever I wanted. So I wasn't kind of strung into certain time of classes as well. And it is really great because I was going onto YouTube and finding a bunch of amazing fitness influencers, whether it be Natasha Ocean, there's Sarah's Day, you've got Carolyn Gervin, who is absolutely incredible. I'm currently going through her Epic 3 program, which is all like weightlifting and stuff like that. So there are amazing resources on here if you wanted to follow a workout plan but didn't necessarily want to have to pay so much for it, or if you can't afford a PT. So I would highly recommend them. I'll try and link some of those down below for you guys. But basically I started doing that during lockdown because I obviously didn't have any other option. Like many of you, all of the gyms were closed for a really extended period, and I kind of didn't want to let my training slip. So I turned to online, and Another really great one I was doing is a Victoria's Secret angel called Kelly Gale, and she was just putting up workouts like almost every single day. So some of them were as short as 5 minutes if you just want to get your body moving, and some of the other ones were up to an hour long. So there is so much variety on here. YouTube is such an amazing community, and I would definitely recommend jumping on if you are just wanting to dip your toes in the water and find out what kind of style workouts work for you. Tip number 16 is to walk or use public transport wherever possible. Now, I know this is not always the most desirable option. If it were to be raining, for example, or if it's late at night and you weren't to feel safe, then by all means, definitely get home by the best way possible. But for me, I noticed I was burning through so much money getting Ubers and taxis and things absolutely everywhere. I'm talking even to the round the corner basically to go and meet up with friends for a wine or something, because I was in heels and I couldn't be bothered walking. So I definitely had a little bit of a reassess on that, because a lot of those apps allow you to kind of go back in and track all of your previous trips, and I could honestly just see that I was really overindulging and overspending. So I really wanted to cut back on that, and the best way to do it honestly was just to eliminate needless kind of using of those services. So I definitely am doing a lot better these days, and I catch the train to work every day anyway, so I already have a MyKey which is preloaded, and often once you hit the daily limit on those kind of things, it's kind of like unlimited travel. So you could literally go in and out of the city multiple times if you had to, and it's still only going to cost you $8 a day. So definitely recommend that if you live near a tram stop, a train station, a bus stop, and it's something that you could incorporate into your routine. Tip number 17 is to shop for quality and not quantity. And what I mean by that is really just kind of going through your wardrobe, which is something I do quite often and something I'll probably be doing with you guys in a couple of weeks yet again. I really just kind of go through my wardrobe on a really regular basis and make sure I don't have any duplicates of things, or I'm actually wearing the items that are in there. So if they're not, then I would definitely try and sell them on a website like Depop or something like that, or even take a bag of clothing down to the charity store. But aside from that, I really have just made a focus on buying amazing staple items that are going to stay in my wardrobe for years to come, and are just things that are really versatile so I can wear them to work but also out on the weekend. And that is something I never used to do before. I was always having a work wardrobe and a life wardrobe, and now the two just kind of blend and cross over, and honestly that has meant I have less things as well, but it also just means that I can spend my money on better quality items. So that's a definite upgrade to my wardrobe, and something I would recommend to all of you as well. Tip number 18 is to get as many direct debits set up as possible, and this is just a really helpful financial kind of one, because for me, I was often trying to manage everything myself because I sort of wanted to know when my money was coming in and out. But what I found was the more that I automated my life and the more that I kind of set up those kind of consistent spending habits, the more I could really get on top of things, because then I even managed to create a little Excel spreadsheet, and it had every single month what I knew was going to be auto debited, and after that then I could start to work out my actual spending amounts that I had left over. So whether that was for rent, for entertainment, for groceries, for just life expenses, like if I wanted to be able to go out for dinner, and that really helped me get on top of my finances whilst also making sure I was never late and never getting hit with late fees on any of my accounts. Tip number 19 is to check on the percentage of interest you're getting on your savings account in the bank, because wow, can I tell you, when I had a look at mine, it was so low. I definitely remember back in the day, you used to be able to get amazing bonus interest on your savings accounts. So if you kind of had that one dedicated account that you were leaving in there and not touching, every single month it would accrue a good amount of bonus interest, and over the space of a year that would actually be a decent little chunk on top of what I'd sort of put in there. But these days, I think the banks are a little bit more strict, and they are definitely not giving away money for free. So I definitely think it is worth checking in and giving your bank a call and just making sure that whatever savings account you've got is the best one for you, depending on how you use it, but also just the highest interest rate that you're able to get at this time. Tip number 20 is to set yourself a no spend challenge. And there are so many videos and resources about that here on YouTube, so I won't go into it too much, but basically I think this is such a brilliant idea, because you are making a conscious decision to have a day or week or even a month if you're you're really devoted to it, of not needlessly spending any money. And that might mean you literally spend $0 on clothing for that month if you want to kind of niche it down and make it a particular thing, or it could literally mean spending no extra money aside from your actual life expenses that are rolling out of your account. So I definitely love this one. I think it's really great to do in particular months that are really tricky, like maybe the month before December when Christmas expenses come up, or maybe now in February when it's sort of after that silly season and you're trying to get back on track. So definitely recommend having a look for a couple of videos about how best to do a no spend challenge, because that has been a huge game changer for me in terms of being really, really strict with myself when my spending gets a little bit out of control. Tip number 21 is to start putting away money into your savings. And there are so many ways you can do this. So you could either manually do that if you are confident that you are able to put in a particular amount each month, or you could kind of set up a little direct debit like I was talking about before. And this can just be a small amount that you can incrementally increase as you get better and better with your savings. But for me, when I didn't have much money, I used to start with maybe $20 a week, and at least I knew that I was working towards a larger goal and putting even a tiny amount away. So no matter what, there was always money topping up my savings account. But obviously, as your salary increases or your conditions change, or like I said, you just feel really confident in the way that you're kind of spending your money and handling your finances, you can start to save towards those kind of goals. So it might be something like a holiday, a home, or just something that you really want to purchase. And I always say you can just kind of put away whatever you're comfortable with that's not going to put you in a difficult position that month, and that's going to make all the difference, because before you know it, even if you're putting away $100 a week, that's $400 a month, and you can really start to calculate out how long it will take you to save towards that particular goal. My last tip for the 22 ways to save money in 2022 is just have a look at a couple of policies and things that you've got. So for me, I have car insurance, I've got home and contents insurance, and health insurance as well. Sorry, I was about to forget that. So sometimes what these places let you do is couple those all together. So if you had each one with a different company, you might be able to bundle them all together with the same company, and they could give you 10 or 15% off all of the policies as a whole, because you were giving all of your money to that one particular place. So obviously it's best to work out what is actually needed for you, so that you're getting not only the best deal in terms of money, but also in terms of what you actually want those policies to do for you. But every year, if I see that the prices have increased, I make sure I get on the phone and ensure that they're being as competitive as they possibly can, because these places are really large corporations. They always have a little bit of wriggle room, and if you've been there for a number of years and shown your loyalty as a customer, then chances are they are going to show a little bit of loyalty back to you as well. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys liked these little money tips and hacks that I use myself every single year and are constantly going back to and reviewing when I feel like I need to get on top of my finances. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.